to record.
Yeah, it says you started record. Or at least this will help in case my laptop doesn't work. Okay. Right. So then the next one, can we start the one we stopped at? So the first line is M. Rousseau, right? So you're debiting M. Rousseau. Then you're crediting you crediting. You can't credit
Not all
now.
of us are here.
Yes, I'm admitted them, the ones that were here. It's Joshua, Kolofelo, Ntando, Tapang. Who are we waiting for?
Zianda.
Oh yeah,
Zianda,
Zianda.
Achiwe, and Tiposechi.
Yeah, they're not on. But you told them to rejoin. Can we start and they can listen to the recording?
Yeah.
Okay. So you debiting M. Rousseau, you debiting C. Mossy. Now this is different, people. The previous one, you only had one debtor. Now you have 4 debtors, isn't that so?
Yes.
So when you have debit, the first line you write M. Rousseau next to the margin. The second line you write C. Mossy next to the margin because you're also debiting. The third line you write G. Gadasan, and the fourth line you write M. Valapi. So you're debiting all 4 debtors. And then the fifth line, you leave a line by the margin. Sorry, you leave a space by the margin. And on the fifth line, you credit interest income. So it's debit on 4 debtors' names, credit interest income. When you're crediting an account, it's always important to note that you leave a space by the margin. Then now we need to work out the interest for the 4 debtors individually. So each debtor will have an interest amount, but an individual amount. So let's do M. Rousseau. You said it was for 9 months, isn't that so?
Yes.
Did they give you the amount that you're owing M. Rousseau in the question?
160.
They did. 160.
You take 160, you times it by 20%, and you times it by 9 over 12. Because the first debtor said 9 over 12 for M. Rousseau. So what do you get? What amount?
24.
Right,
24.
24. Sorry?
24.
Yeah, so you debit with the amount of 24 rands. So in the debit column, for M. Rousseau, you write 24. Please remember this. You write 24 in the debit column, and you also go to debtors control in the debit column. You also write 24. So you debit M. Rousseau with 24. You debit debtors control with 24. That's all you do for now. There's no credit right now because there's more than one debtor. Then the next line is C. Mossy. So what's the amount that you need to work out? You need to take the full amount, times it by the interest rate, which is 20%, and then times it by 6 over 12. What do you get as the interest?
25.
Yes, it's 25. So you write 25 in the debit column, and you write 25 under debtors control debit. The rest of you all, are you with us? Are you understanding how to get the amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then the next debtor is G. Gadasan. So how many months is he owing, did he not pay for? Or must he pay interest for?
6 months. No.
So it's 6 months. You take,
3 months.
so you take, okay, so then you take you times it by the interest rate again, and you times it by the number of months. What do you get?
23.
Yes, so that's 23. So in the debit column for G. Gadasan, you write 23. And then the debit column for debtors control, you write 23. Right, then the next one is the last debtor, M. Valapi. Use the same formula, times it by the interest rate and times it by the number of months. And then tell me what amount you get.
120.
Right, so 120 in the debit column, 120 in debtors control under debit. Now, please remember that you had 4 debtors. So you debited 4 debtors with their individual interest amount. And you also debited debtors control with their individual debtors amounts. Now, what are you crediting? You said you're crediting interest income. So for interest income, you're going to add up the 4 amounts and tell me the total, and the total you will write in the credit column. So add the
192.
4, 1,
192.
192. So in the credit column, you write 192 in line of interest income. So remember, interest income is credited with 192 in the credit column. Right. Then you write a narration for your transaction. Your narration will be interest charged on overdue account, and it will be 20%.
Accounts or debtors?
You can write debtors, it's fine, it's also correct. So it's interest charge on overdue debtors or interest charge on overdue accounts. It's both accepted, and it's at 20%. Don't forget to write the percentage. So that's number 5. The reason why I wanted to do the 5th one with you is because you had many debtors. So you need to know that you must show the individual debtors, and then you just credit the total by interest income. Right, this the 6, are you all fine there? This number 6, somebody else can do it because it's simple. Number 6 is very easy. So read the transaction, whoever wants to, and then tell me what would you do there.
Stefan, read.
Yes. Who's reading it?
Apiwe is reading.
Okay. Did I read it up here?
The owner took goods for his personal use. The cost price was 200 and the selling price was 260.
Okay, so that's good. So you will highlight the word personal use. Personal use is your key word. And remember, the owner took goods. So it's owner took goods as well as personal use. Those are the key words. So you need to tell me from those key words, what are you going to debit, what account, and what account are you going to credit?
We're going to debit drawings and we're going to credit trading stock.
Right, good. You're going to debit drawings, you're going to credit trading stock. Please remember, drawings is debited, trading stock is credited, and then what amount do you use?
The cost price?
Right, good. What's the cost price in this case?
200.
That is 200, good. So you debit drawings with 200. In the debit column, you write 200, and you credit trading stock, and the credit column, you write 200. Is debtors control affected, yes or no?
No.
Yes. The reason how you see it's no is because if there's no names, only if you have individual people's names, then you have to ask yourself the question, is it a debtor or a creditor? But in this case, you got accounts. There's no names given to you. So you don't have debtors control and you don't have creditors control. So it is not affected. Then the only thing that you have to do now is write your narration. So your narration will be owner took goods for personal use. You can write your narration, owner took goods for personal use. Right, very good. That was a good try. Owner took goods for personal use. Right, so number 6 is done. Number 6 is the easy transaction as well as the one that you all have done in number 4. Those are the easiest transactions you can get. Right, very good. The next one is number 7. We got the last 2 now. And then after I'm done with the last 2, I'm going to... Yes, who wants to try this number 7?
Me, ma'am.
Okay, you can start.
Write off the following debtors account. M Spic 220, K
Yeah.
Span 420, R Needs 375. P tidy 1100.
Right, good. Tell me how you're going to do it in the journals. Remember, you have more than one debtor. You don't have one amount for debtors because you have 1, 2, 3, 4 debtors. Did you realize that?
Yes, ma'am. You're gonna debit that debt,
Yes.
and then you're gonna credit MSPIC, KSpan, AirNeat, and P tidy.
Right, very good. Now let me just stop there for one moment. You're going to debit bad debts, and then when you credit the individual debtors, you write their names individually, one after the other. So when you leave a line by the margin, then you're going to write MSPIC, then after that you're going to write KSpan, RNeat, and P tidy. And then you're going to write the individual amounts in the credit column. When you write the individual amounts in the credit column, you will add it up and write the total for bad debts in your debit column. So tell me the individual amounts that affects each debtor.
MSPIC is 220. KSpan is 420.
Yes.
RNeat is 375.
Yes.
And then P tidy is 1100.
Right, good. And then you said you debited bad debts. So what would you do? What amount would you write for bad debts?
You're gonna add all of them up, and then you're gonna get hold on. You're gonna get 2,115, and then you put it
Right,
under.
correct. Good. So where will you write 2,115?
In the debit column, under bad debt.
Right, good. So in the debit column under bad debts, in the debit column you will write 2,115, and in the credit column you have the individual amounts. Then tell me something. Are we done with the transaction, or do you also have to write the individual amounts under debtors control?
Yes, ma'am, you have to, because they are debtors, you must write their...
Right, very good. And plus you were given the names, isn't that so?
Yes, ma'am.
So you go to debtors control. In the credit column of debtors control, you will write 220 for MSPIC, 420 for KSpan, 375 for RNeat, and 1,100 for P tidy. That will go in the individual columns under credit for debtors control. Then your narration, what would you have as your narration?
Accounts written off.
Or you can write bad debts written off. Even account written off is correct. So remember to write your narration and underline your narration. Right, very good. That's the 7th one. Now the last transaction is the 8th. It's also very easy. Who wants to try the last transaction? Now the last one.
Ntando, ma'am, is gonna try.
Yeah, is Ntando offline because she's gone, she exited.
Yes.
So let us just do it together. Is the last one affecting drawings, the owner took goods for personal use?
Yes, drawings and trading stock.
Yeah, then that's the easy one. So the last one, this is what you will do for the last one. You will debit drawings and you will credit trading stock. What's the amount, the cost price of the goods taken?
280.
Yeah, so you in the debit column, you will debit 280, and the credit column, you will credit 280. The narration for the last transaction is goods taken for personal use. So remember, it's debit drawings 280, credit trading stock 280, and the narration will be goods taken for personal use. Right, that's the end of 6.7. Your activity, I'm going to take a picture of the memo and I'm going to post it onto your group now, on your WhatsApp group. You can check why I'm taking a picture and posting, because when I'm talking to you, I'm not there personally. I need you to check that you are putting the things in the correct columns, because your spacing must be correct, the columns must be correct. When you're comfortable with that, then I want you to do 6.8 for today. Is that fine?
Our next meeting.
And then our next meeting is next
Yes,
week,
ma'am.
but I'm not going to be going over 6.8 because 6.8 is only 1 star. So it's very, very easy. It's similar to 6.7. So I'm going, when you're done with 6.8, some of your, whoever's done, request the memo. I will give you the memo on the group chat. And then for the next meeting, I want you to prepare 6.11. So the next meeting is going to be 6.11.
Yeah.
Because it's a 2-star activity. I have to take you to the 1 star, 2 star, and then the 3rd star. So we'll do 3 meetings on General Journal, and then we'll be completed. So tell me something, with physics, which day you're having lessons?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
So it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Can I have a meeting, to another lesson tomorrow? Is that fine?
No problem, ma'am.
Yeah, but
Ma'am,
what
can it
time?
be earlier though? Can we be
Yeah, I
like
want it
round
to
up
be
like
earlier.
9 o'clock? 9 o'clock.
Yeah, is it fine for everyone, 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock's too early.
I'm okay, ma'am.
It's too early
Too
for
early?
them.
Yes. For most
But then,
people.
ma'am, school starts at 7:30.
No, for most
When we
people.
go back to
See how many people what is probability. This is the most amount of people that's actually going to join. It's like if
Yeah.
if you all had to post a meeting early in the morning, most people won't join.
Okay, that's true. And then tell me something, for physics, how many people join?
At least 15, 20.
like 12.
15, 20.
But remember, for physics, you have an entire class. You'll have like 60 learners that are doing physics.
Yes.
Yes,
And from
and
the
not all of
60
them come.
Yeah, but from the 60, only 15 people join. For me, my accounting numbers are smaller. But for me, I only get 5 people joining the most out of, there's 13 in our classroom. So half the class joins, you can say that.
Yes.
But the problem is I can't have it early because I don't want one person to join. I need everyone, like at least half the class to join.
Ma'am, I think the
But
1
at
to
the
2 is
same time-
fine.
I don't mind doing it tomorrow, but I don't think 9 o'clock because you're saying it's too early. So is 1 to 2 fine?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am,
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
fine. 1 to 2.
Okay, so Masa, tomorrow what time is physics?
It's in the
Le-
morning.
It's
11.
always 11 o'clock.
Yeah, and then sometimes, you know what happens with us, they're going to have a meeting for training, because remember, we're not allowed to go to the school tomorrow because they're still sanitizing. So they're doing a hygiene training with us. So I don't know if Mr. Tango will also choose 11, 12, or 1. So I suggest that if we don't have it tomorrow, you do 6.8, right? Because it's very easy. When you're done, tell me on the group chat, I will post a memo. Then we can do 6.11. If I'm available, I'll do the Zoom lesson from 1 to 2 if he doesn't have a meeting with us. But if he has a meeting, then can we all, like, maybe later on in the day, you can post all your queries on WhatsApp, then I can help you out with 6.11. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Then the next Zoom lesson will be next week. We're definitely going to have one next week. You need to tell me which date next week. Monday is also. But remember, you all might be confused now because when we go to school, they have a meeting. So Monday I'm returning to school. So I don't know what time to have the Zoom meeting. So let me post on the group when I'm having the next meeting. I'll let you know on the group as soon as I know what's happening at school. So if Mr. Tango doesn't have a meeting tomorrow, the lesson will be from 1 to 2. But if he does have a lesson, like a meeting, then I will have it next week and I'll post on the group what date. But remember, the next lesson, you need to have 6.11 completed. So your homework or your activities that you need to do is 6.8 and 6.11. 6.8, if you're done, I'll post a memo. But 6.11, we will go through it because it has discount. And then after 6.11, we'll move on to the level 3 activities. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll end now. I'll post a memo for today's activity. You can continue 6.8. At the end of the day, like, I'll give you some time to do 6.8. towards the evening, I'll post the memo for 6.8. And then for the weekend, please do 6.11 because that's the two-star activity. 6.11. Yeah. Okay. Then I'll let you know on the group chat what time, on what date is our next lesson. But remember, this week and next week, my topic is general journal. If I'm done with general journal next week, then the following week, I'm starting salaries and wages. I have to finish term 2's work. What I'm left with to complete in term 2 is general journal, which we're doing now. Then I have to do salaries and wages. I'm not happy with the debtors control, the discount part, and creditors control. So when we realize what's going to happen at school and stuff, I'm going to, if not, then I have to explain it to you on Zoom. We have to go over discount and the columns of discount received and discount allowed, because I see some errors on the test as well. And then lastly, there's another topic that we need to do, which is debtors and creditors reconciliation. Then will be completed for term 2. And then I don't know going forward how our lessons are going to be. I'll notify you when I find out next week. So I'll end this meeting now. Is that fine?
Okay.